Hey guys, welcome to the Superhero Post Show where we talk about things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, and today I'm so glad to talk to you guys about some crazy rumor that I ended up coming across today that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it was for Kang and the Scarlet Witch and how they might be possibly connected. So I'm going to read this rumor for you guys, and then I'm going to get into some stuff and talking about how I feel about it, etc. So let's get into it right now. So it says this. There is a plan to reveal Kang or one of his variants as the true author of the Darkhold. Remember the Scarlet Witch prophecy. I can guarantee you that Kang would undoubtedly be interested in an individual like that. And by the way, this was posted by the MCU Culture, but it's been on like a bunch of articles on Comic Book Realm, the Direct, everywhere. So now I'm going to read you guys what the Scarlet Witch prophecy actually is before we get into it. So the Scarlet Witch prophecy was detailed by the centuries-old witch Agatha Harkness in WandaVision, and this is what it says. It basically explains that Wanda is destined to either rule over the world or destroy the world. And that's basically Wanda's fate, is to be either of those two. And so, with that being said, this really would make sense. Right? So, I see this idea, or this rumor to me makes a lot of sense. It really does. And I really could see this happening. And I see this rumor happening in either two movies, either in Avengers Kang Dynasty or in Doctor Strange 3, which has been pushed up to come out before Avengers Kang Dynasty. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about how I think this can happen in Doctor Strange, and then how I think this also can happen in Avengers Kang Dynasty. So let's start first. Let's start first with Doctor Strange, since we think it's going to be pushed up before Avengers Kang Dynasty. So I can see a plot to where after Doctor Strange and Clea are done dealing with Dormammu and the Dark Dimension, because so far as we know, guys, let's be clear, the Dark Dimension and the quantum realm are two different things. Now, when you think of the dark dimension, think of it as hell. Like that's kind of what it is, okay? The underworld. So I think after they're done doing their stuff there, they might be going after Kang, and maybe the plot might show us a type of race to where who can get to another Darkhold in another universe the fastest, and maybe whoever has the Darkhold can awake and control Wanda, or maybe just Kang has that power to, since he's the one that in this rumor technically created the Darkhold. So that's kind of the way that I can see this happening. And obviously the ending could end with Kang actually getting a hold of Wanda, and then that chaos is going to enter into Avengers Kang Dynasty, which might destroy the theory that I have of the original Avengers being the villains, or Wanda could be working with them. That would be also dope. So now, if this is in Avengers Kang Dynasty, I can see this happening. I can see this happening where Kang could awaken her, but none of the Avengers know. I can see this kind of as a low-key thing. Kang and maybe MODOK are going around, and Kang ends up awakening her to get her ready for battle. So we might not see her until they battle against Kang, and then Wanda just murks everyone with ease because she is the most powerful person in the MCU, in my opinion. So those are really the two plots and ways that I see, that happening with the Kang and Wanda connection. Now, I am very interested to see how Kang created the Darkhold, because it does open up the question to me, right? Does Kang possess magic in the MCU? Because in the comics, Kang doesn't have any powers. Kang is just a mega genius, and I know that, in the MCU, science and magic are very similar. To an extent, science and magic are basically the same. So I do wonder how they make that scientific and magical connection, if this is true, if Kang did create the Darkhold, because we all know that in the comics, the Darkhold was made by Chthon, So I would love to see how this idea irons out in the movies. Did Kang maybe inspire Chthon to make the Darkhold? Is Chthon and all these other characters, are they kind of like what the Timekeepers were, right? When we were in the Loki show, the Timekeepers were a joke. They weren't real. You know what I mean? It was only one person who was real that controlled everything, and it was he who remains. So I am very interested in seeing kind of how if this rumor is true, how it's going to form in the movie and how it can connect everything. But if this is true, I think this will be a really big connection that to me is worth it, because I mean, it kind of makes the justice for a lot of stuff in Doctor Strange that we saw, and it would make a lot of mad connections to Loki and a lot of other shows. So I am very interested in seeing how this unfolds, because I do feel like after Ant-Man, we are going to see how Kang was connected all over Phase 4, you know? And so yeah, that's how I feel about that. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. I am very excited just to see how this goes on. It just gets me more excited every time. So tell me what you guys think about this rumor and give me some of your theories so we can talk about it in the comments. All right. I love you guys. Please, guys, like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. All right. Peace.